Hey guys, how we doing? Happy Friday. Let's jump straight into it, shall we? Today we're going to be comparing two treatments, microblading and eyebrow tinting. Both services add a boost of pigment to your eyebrows, but what sets them apart from each other? Let's look at the similarities and differences to help you decide which treatment would be the best fit for you. So let's start with microblading. I'm sure you've heard of that term before, but what actually is it? Well, microblading is essentially a semi-permanent tattoo. A tiny blade's used to create small incisions into the skin in your eyebrow, right above the dermis layer of your skin. Pigment is then distributed into the incisions to replicate the look of eyebrow hairs. You're probably thinking that sounds terrifying, but it's a really common beauty treatment and it's less daunting than it may seem. Microblading is often sought after by individuals who experience hair loss and don't have any natural eyebrow hair growing. It's a great long-term solution to provide pigment coverage in that area. So let's move on to eyebrow tinting. This is the application of dye onto the eyebrows, kind of like how you would dye your hair. It can be done at home using a box dye kit or at a beauty service at the salon. The colour isn't necessarily darker, it just enhances your natural colour to help your eyebrows stand out more and create a bolder, more defined shape. And one thing to note is that microblading is used to fill in any sparse areas in your eyebrows and to reshape your brows, whilst eyebrow tinting colours your existing hairs, but it can't create the look of new hairs. So let's dive into the frequently asked questions. First of all, how long is the appointment? Well, for eyebrow tinting, it's a non-invasive treatment, which would usually take anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes, where microblading is a much more intricate process. The appointment can take up to 2 hours. How long does it last? Well, whilst both services are used with the intention to prolong pigment in your eyebrows, they definitely vary in longevity. Even though microblading is technically a tattoo, it won't last forever. Microblading is semi-permanent and will last between 1 to 3 years. And this will depend on factors such as whether you have dry or oily skin and also how well you look after the area. Eyebrow tinting, on the other hand, is temporary. It uses either salon-grade dye or henna, which will eventually fade, and most people would book in touch-ups every 3 to 8 weeks to keep their eyebrows looking full and pigmented. Now, if you're regularly applying eyebrow products to your eyebrow area, the dye is going to be likely to rub off sooner, especially if you tend to scrub hard. And another factor to consider is the type of dye and how long it's left on for. If you box dye your own eyebrows and the dye doesn't take too well to your brows, you'll need to reapply it sooner than normal. Can I make the eyebrow tint last longer? Unfortunately, the tint will always fade as that's the nature of the semi-permanent dye. However, there are a few things that you can try to prolong the pigment, such as avoid getting your eyebrows wet for at least half a day after the dye has been applied, and don't use any oil-based products like cleansers or gels, as this can lift the dye sooner than planned. Try using cream products instead. And don't forget to go easy on the eyebrow brushing. We all love a spoolie to help comb our hairs in place, but the more heavy-handed you are with your eyebrow area, the easier it's going to be for the dye to lift. Believe it or not, it's a safer bet to go darker if you want it to last as long as possible. The tint will always last about the same amount of time, no matter what shade you go for, but light eyebrows will begin to look even lighter over time. So at least if you go with a darker shade, it will fade to your desired look first, before then fading as usual. Are the treatments harmful? Don't worry, eyebrow tinting is a non-invasive treatment and it won't cause any damage to your natural eyebrow hairs or your skin. Brow dye doesn't contain bleach and it's very gentle. Microblading, on the other hand, requires a scalpel to break the skin, which unfortunately can be a risk for skin infections. However, if the correct tools are used and they're sterilised before the treatment, it really shouldn't be a cause for concern. But please be sure to do your research and find a well-known therapist with good reviews. That's really important. In terms of pain, eyebrow tinting won't cause any pain to you. It's just an application of dye. It's painless. For microblading, your therapist will apply a numbing cream to the area at the start of the treatment, so you won't feel any pain either, but you might experience just a minor discomfort or a pressure, and this is just the blade coming into contact with the skin. It probably sounds really painful, but honestly, it's not too bad. How much does it cost? Unfortunately, microblading can be an expensive treatment, so people can end up paying up to £650, but the price will vary depending on the area you're in and the therapist or the salon. Eyebrow tinting is definitely a cheaper alternative, but you will need to have more appointments to top up the pigment. So really, I suppose it's down to you, whatever's best suited to your individual needs. So there we have it. Those are the most common asked questions about microblading and eyebrow tinting. I hope I've covered everything you would ever want to know, but of course, as always, our comment section and our DMs are always open for any more questions. At the salon, we don't actually offer microblading, but we do offer eyebrow tinting along with other brow services, including threading, shaping, and a general tidy up of the eyebrow area. To book an appointment, head over to lesalon.com or use our mobile app. Thanks so much for watching and have a great weekend. Bye.